In this video, I'm going to talk about Cricut Design Space and Cricut Access. So one of the questions I get asked all the time is if you need to pay for access. And that question comes in a number of different forms. And a lot of the times what someone is asking is if you have to pay for the program or the software to use with your Cricut machine. And the answer is no, you don't. Cricut Design Space is the program that you're going to use to send cut files to your Cricut machine. And this right here is what Cricut Design Space looks like. Now that doesn't mean you have to use Design Space to create your designs, but if you're not tech savvy, it is very helpful to learn how to use this program before you move on to something like Inkscape. So in this course, I'm really going to focus initially more on how to work in Design Space to create your files. There may be a few projects that, I skip ahead and show you in Inkscape, but that's really just to show you the difference, and eventually we will be moving on more to Inkscape. But even with Inkscape, you are going to need Design Space, which is the program you use to send files to your Cricut machine. Now that is Cricut Design Space. We're going to talk a little bit now about Cricut Access. To understand that, you'll have to know that the Cricut machine used to come with cartridges. It didn't come with cartridges. You'd have to buy cartridges to cut files on your machine. And to show you what they would look like, I'm going to come in here to Images and go to Image Sets. And when you used to buy cartridges, let's say I'm going to look for teaching. So what you do is you'd pay so much for a cartridge that would have a set of images that you could cut. Or let's go back, we could just do shapes. Okay, so you can see each of these, they're sets, and they would have different images. And this is basically what you would get on a cartridge. Now the reason I'm showing you this is because what Cricut Access does is you don't need those cartridges anymore. If you have a Cricut Explorer Air, I'm not sure with the 2, but I know with the 1, you can still use the old cartridges in them. But we don't, they don't use cartridges anymore. Everything is digital. So if you're paying for Cricut Access, think of it like Netflix. It's a subscription that gives you access to basically every cartridge that ever existed and all the new designs and files that they come out with. So I just want to give you a little tour and show you how much you get with the Cricut Access subscription. So we're going to start by going into projects. And here you can see there are lots and lots of project ideas. These are ready to go for the most case. You can customize a lot of these if you want to. But what they do is they show you a nice image of what the finished project would look like. So here, there's a party hat, for example. And if you go to make it, it's going to skip the process where you would customize it. And it's going to take you right to this part where it's ready to send to the Cricut. So all this is it's going to cut out the party hat. It's going to draw the word celebrate on it, and then it's going to cut it out, and then you would roll it up. And then if you wanted, you could add a pom-pom to it and, maybe some more decorations on the bottom. So that's, these are lots of fun different project ideas. They're ready to go. And up here on the top left-hand corner, you're going to see there's a little banner with a green A. What that tells you is that this project is included, I can't say for free, but it's included with your Access subscription. So if you subscribe to Cricut Access, that means you can find lots and lots of different projects to make. You can also filter these down by, there's lots of categories. For example, say we're looking for some Christmas project ideas. And again, these are all ready to go. Okay, now that's just projects. We're also going to come over here into images. I'm going to go back to Canvas, search images. And there's two different ways to search Cricut images. By default, this is where it's going to take you. And let's say you're looking for a picture of a tree. You can scroll through and see lots of pictures of trees and some projects. And a lot of them, you'll see, have the green A, and that's because I subscribe to Cricut Access. Even though I can make my own files, and I often do make my own files, for me personally, I feel that the cost of the Access subscription is well worth it, and I use it all the time. With that being said, it is purely optional. You don't need it. If you don't have it, you'll find all of the images, or most of the images, are going to look more like this right here. And it's going to have a price in the bottom left corner. And that's going to tell you how much each file costs. So the difference is, if you subscribe, you have access to a lot of different images. And if you don't, you can buy those images individually if you'd like. So really, that's what you can think of it as. Cricut Access is like Netflix. It's a subscription service that gives you the ability to quickly find projects and images right here in Design Space. And it is purely optional. You don't need to subscribe. And when you're first getting started, what I really recommend is just create your own simple text-based projects and play with other designs and maybe get some free SVGs. But there's so much you can do in there that what I wouldn't recommend is subscribing to Access when you don't understand what it is and if you're even going to use it or not. So when you have the free trial, if you bought a new machine, don't activate it until you're ready to really go in there and play around with the projects and the images and see what they have to offer and if it's something that you will benefit from. I hope this video helps. Thank you for watching.